Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys awesome interviews. Today it is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Mike DeLeon. He's the guitarist of Philip H Anselmo and the Illegals. They have a new album that's out right now called Choosing Mental Illness as a Virtue. Album is out right now and you want to get out and take a look at it, pick it up. It's awesome stuff. So, Mike, how's it going, my man?
Doing pretty good, man. Just here on a good, nice, chilled Texas night, and just not doing too bad, man. Just been kind of checking out all the reviews on the new album, and just kind of been reading up on it tonight, man.
What's impressed you or excited you the most about making the new Illegals album, Choosing Mental Illness as a Virtue? What's caught your eye about it, or that stands out more for you, possibly?
Man, just to be jamming with Philip, is just, for me, is just a big, it's just still, pretty, an awe and surreal. It's an honor to be jamming with the guy. I remember seeing the Illegals a few times here in Texas, back when they were first getting going. And I remember just, being super stoked to hear what Philip was doing in his new solo project. So for me, the most exciting thing is just, to be able to put out an album, with the man and such an aggressive, super extreme, death metal album, man, that, is just super exciting. And it's, almost, like a little fresh of breath air, in what's coming out, this last couple of years in the world of death metal and stuff. So to be jamming with the Illegals and Philip and making this music is just, overall super, honoring and exciting, man. Stoked about, what's to come and everything.
I've had Philip on here talking about this album, and I even mentioned it to him, and I said, man, it doesn't shock me of all the stuff that you have put out. I said, it wouldn't shock me also if you wouldn't put out a country album, a heavy country album. As much stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it would shock too many people, but maybe it may shock some people if he did something like that. But I don't know. Maybe down the road he might be feeling that way, and he might come out with some dark country or something down the road. You never know, man.
I tell you what, man, I love your guitar playing on here. And I'm going to say this right now for the folks who have not picked this album. I'm going to give you my taste of this album that I like. I like Little Fucking Heroes, Delinquent, The Ignorant Point. These are just a few great songs on this album. And like Mike just said, it is a fresh breath there because this is a hard-hitting album, and it's every song's different. There's a lot more fresh stuff on this one.
Yeah, man. It each track is its own little, has its own little spin and its own little, story almost. That Philip's definitely speaking through the lyrics and musically, it all fits together really well. But at the same time, each song is, individually, can stand up and rock some shit, on its own, man. So yeah, I definitely agree with you, man. It's definitely a great album, man, and we're super proud of it, man. And I can't wait, to get out there and jam these tunes on the live front, man, for everybody, and bring these really heavy tunes and to the live front. I really appreciate you liking the guitar work on it, man. Definitely put some Texas flair on it, bro.
What have you added to this band on this album? Do you feel any pressure coming aboard to the Illegals, coming, because you come from Flesh Hoarder and plus things like that Being Killed, those bands, but did you feel any pressure at all coming into Philip H Anselmo and Illegals on this album?
Yes, sir, man. I definitely. I know I come from a death metal background, but coming into this project, I honestly didn't know what, day one, I didn't know what Philip wanted to do. I remember, the first album, it is really its own thing too. So coming into this, I remember just being like, I have no clue, what Philip's going to want to do. But there was definitely some pressure, and I remember being really nervous in the jam room when he walked in. Like a little quick story on that, like first time jamming, I remember looking over at Steven and telling him, man, I'm so nervous right now. And Steven was just like, bro, just relax, enjoy, just play, man. He's like, you know, you're here to do it. Just jam. And as soon as Philip walked in, it honestly, all the pressure just seemed to like fly out the door, because he made it so comfortable, and it's been that way ever since. That, you know, there's definitely still pressure. You know, you want to play good when you're around him, you know, and around the guys. You know, we're all trying to do our best, you know, but Philip, man, he makes it so comfortable for all of us to just go in there and just do our thing and be ourselves. And, you know, obviously he wants us to play tight, so, you know, the pressure's there, but he makes it really comfortable. So it's definitely a fun time, and we all get along great. So it's good. But the pressure, I'm sure, will be on the live front. Once we get out there, I'm sure there'll be some, you know, on us, you know, but once we get a few shows under the belt too, that should, you know, pretty much blow over.
You know, man, I was interviewing Phil on this album a couple weeks ago, and he said that you have brought a fresh breath air musically guitar playing to this album and to him and his band. So that's a high compliment, man.
Wow, that's awesome to hear that, man. That's really cool. That's amazing. Phil said that, man. That's so cool, man.
Any songs off this new album stand out more to you than any on it as of right now, if possible? I mean, I know these are like picking your favorite collectible or child, but do you have any that stand out?
Yes, sir. I would say, man, the two they're all great, but the two that definitely stand out to me will be the second track, Utopian. That song in particular is a big collaboration between me, Philip, and Steven. Like, I was able to bring on that particular song almost the main riff of the song. After the intro, there's that main riff. I was able to, you know, to bring that part into the picture, and we all worked around. Like, Philip did his thing, and he made it his. But you know, we all jammed that one. But that one in particular, I got to contribute a lot on that one. And then the other one would be track number 5, the song Individual, which is, a lot of people seem to like that song. It's the only song on the album that features a guitar solo. And so I really like that song. I got to lay down that guitar solo. Some people think there's a little like a harmonizer or effect that I'm using, and I want to clear that's just straight guitar solo. There's no effects on that one solo on the whole album. I know the first album, you know, there's a lot more you know, guitar playing on it. But on this one, Philip was most definitely focused on the music, and I'm really glad he is. I'm really glad I just got to do that one, because it stands out all by itself, you know. And so I would say number 2, Utopian, and track 5, Individual, man. Those two definitely stand out to me and definitely mean a lot, man.
Being a guitarist, man, do you think that the guitar solo is kind of fading away a little bit, you think?
Yeah, I would definitely, you know, like I would say it's fading away to a certain degree. There's definitely some bands that still do the solo, but it doesn't seem like you're hearing it as much, you know, like today. I mean, if you go out there and look for the solos, you know, they're out there in like power metal and stuff, but like in metal and whatnot, you know, you just don't really hear too many guitar solos nowadays, man. So, you know, I'm glad I got to do that one. I remember, you know, just you know, being a kid and just jamming all the good hair metal bands from the 80s, and everybody was doing solos. Everybody was just jamming, you know, that way. And yeah, nowadays you don't hear too many guitar solos. So yeah, I'm glad I got to lay down that one, man. I'm super proud of it. That morning before I recorded that one solo, I spent like a whole hour listening to like Trey Azagoth from Morbid Angel guitar solos and Jeff Hanneman from Slayer, his particular guitar solos. I was just like, okay, that's what I wanted to bring, was like the style of Hanneman and Azagoth, from two big influences on me personally. I was just jamming like their solos in that morning, and I got to go and record that. And that day we got to record a few things. Well, the first thing we did that morning was that guitar solo. So like I said, super proud of that song, man. But yeah, solos are definitely fading out, man.
Yeah, that's the crucial part of the song, I think. I mean, I don't think... I mean, to me, I'm like you. I like the old 80s stuff, early 90s, late 90s stuff, because you still have guitar solos. But I think for that to fade away is a truly sad day, because it needs to stick around. I mean, that's what makes a damn song.
Yeah, man. You know, those solos, you know, guitar solos overall definitely give you know, total extra, you know, feel to the song, especially if it's a good solo, man. If it's a solo that you're gonna remember, like you'll say, just in jamming, if you're jamming a Metallica solo, but you've heard the song so many times, you could sing the solo because you know all the notes. So guitar solos are definitely cool, and then it is kind of sad, you're not seeing them or not hearing them, I should say, as much as you used to, back in the day. But for this particular album, I still will say I'm really glad Philip, focused more on the music for this in particular album, because it's ferocious start to finish. And I'm really glad there's not, for this album, it's more focused on just the pure brutality. And, the one solo is awesome, and it kicks its ass right there too, man. So super proud of it, man.
How long did it take to record this album?
We recorded this album, I would think, like in a couple of sections, like in 2 sections. I remember us going out and recording some like in June or something of 2015, and then we finished it in 2016, like the beginning of 2016. So it was definitely recorded in like a couple of different pieces, but the actual process of it, maybe like 2 weeks or less or something like that. It definitely wasn't like a long time. It was like 3 or 4 days here and 3 or 4 days there, and then Philip just did his vocals on his own. So it took him a little bit of time, but for us and the guys in the band, man, it must have been 2 weeks, and we were all done, man.
Now, this is produced by Philip Anselmo at Housecore Records. How was working with him as a producer versus him being a vocalist in the band? Did you see a different side of him as a producer via a vocalist?
Yes, yeah, definitely. As a producer, he knows what he wants and what he's going for, and as a vocalist, it's like a whole other ball game, because he's doing his vocals, and he's focusing more on that. But as a producer side, he's definitely involved with our other best buddy, the big fella, Stephen Berrigan. He's the other half of the recording process, and then too they get in their zone, and you could see him when he's producing, as in telling him what he wants there, and what he wants there, and when he wants a little bit of extra there, he'll make us play that. He'll be like, add that to it and do that to it, and it's just great to be able to see that side of Philip that I just would never thought I'd ever get to see. But seeing like him more of a producer side was really interesting. I remember when I particularly was recording, he was literally sitting right behind me, legs crossed, like watching my every note, man. And it was really, pressure was on, man. I wanted to this is a wild album to be playing, and I remember we were sitting there and just recording track after track, and he sat there, had a cigarette, and he was focused, and he was watching, all of us. He'd watch, and he would definitely be involved, man. So, and then, after we were done with that, then we'd get in and play the songs, and he'd jump on vocals, and it would just be, we'd all be in the pocket together.
How much growth musically have you seen yourself go through from each band and to this album being put out, or has it just been more of just of a personal growth for you? Have you seen yourself grow musically with each album, each band, plus this one?
I've been playing here in the scene for probably about a good strong 17, 18 years, and I've been in a lot of bands, and a lot of good death metal bands. But a few years ago, the band that I was in was a thrash metal band, and it definitely showed me a lot, coming from as a guitar player standpoint, more of like I was in a band called MOD, and we did a bunch of the old MOD songs. So I mean, as a guitar player, it definitely tightened me up from going from death metal to playing thrash metal and hardcore in that band. And then going from that band and now jamming with Philip, man, I've definitely grown, because Philip's made me think outside the box the way I've never really thought out before. I've always been like almost straightforward 4/4. Even in MOD, it was like 4/4 thrash metal. But now I don't even know what timing some of these songs are. I'm sure it's some crazy timings, but for us, it all works together as the puzzle it is. And definitely as a guitar player, I've grown, and even in the Illegals, I wasn't really doing dissonant chords, and some of the grinding that Philip, some of the riffs that he wrote is just like, what are you doing, bro? And And, you know, he sat down and was like, just, you know, try this, you know, do it, you know, you can do it. And, you know, just getting the hang of it, man, it definitely made me grow as a guitar player and just think outside the box that it can work. You know, listen to him, you know, in this band, listen to him and just go with it. And it works, man. It all comes together. So throughout my personal career, I've definitely grown and gotten a lot tighter. And Philip has definitely made that for me too, man, you know, and just me as a general, just practicing, I'm doing my own thing, but learning, yeah, man, for sure learning. And this album definitely, this album shaped me up, man. I'm ready to move on to the next one now.
Now, do you do anything differently during the writing and recording process, you know, to help you keep your mind focused and open to new stuff? I mean, especially coming from those bands into the Illegals, that's got to be a whole 360-degree change in music reference that you've got to, you know, keep your focus on.
I don't know, just to bring a certain feel to it, to keep it fresh every time and not let it get stale. To me, these songs, these songs on this album are definitely exciting. So I'm really excited about them right now. But I just think, you know, just being in these bands, just being able to have an open mind coming into this, you know, with an open mind, knowing that, you know, even if I bring a riff or whatever we're jamming on, it's definitely going to get spinned around and everything. But, it's, you know, I just try to keep it fresh, try to just try to go in there with, you know, having fun and just try to keep these songs fun. I think I don't think these songs will get stale, man. These songs will hopefully stand the test of time in 10, 15 years. We're still playing these songs and they're still as fun as they are then as they are right now, you know?
Yeah, for sure. You know, we're living in the digital era of recording albums and plus social media. Do you like this that we're in right now, Mike, to help bands to get music out a lot quicker and plus, you know, have an interaction with their fans? Do you like this that we're in right now?
I'm actually totally cool with it and with how things are going. I love that right now. I can go, you know, on my phone and listen to something from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s that I've never heard before without having, you know, go down to the store and, you know, and not that I don't mind going to buy it, which is totally cool, but being able just to be able to pick something right on up, you know, right here and jam it, I think that's really cool. And me personally, I've always wanted to just give my music away, just because I want everybody to have it. You know, it's always cool to sell CDs, which is, you know, it's always great too. But in today's world, I'm totally, you know, with you know, just being able to access music. Now, downloading and all that, like, you know, I'm not really cool with all that. I don't, you know, I would rather you go, you know, and get, you know, iTunes or Spotify or something, you know, with today's, you know, access to music and, you know, pay the bands that way, you know, because we, you know, and that. But I like how we can interact with our fans, and Philip is real cool with that. He likes being able, you know, to being able to interact. So I think it's cool. Plus, right now in today's world, vinyl and cassettes are seeming to be coming back. So you can get the new Illegals on vinyl. So, you know, if you're into that, which a lot of people seem to be into, that's really cool. You know, if that's your thing, go out, buy the album, go out and buy the CD. You know, they're still there, so that's cool. But in today's world, in 2018, and, you know, being able to access music, you know, right there, I think that's pretty cool. If I want to jam some old school funk or something, man, I just pull it right on up, plug in the speaker, and, you know, you're good to go, man.
In your own opinion, Mike, what does Philip H Anselmo and the Illegals bring to the table for music that's not out there as of right now, man?
Like I said earlier, we are definitely trying to bring something new with this album that most bands, you know, there's some bands doing some extreme stuff out there if you look for it. You know, Philip always mentioned Portal. We put out an album the same day they did. You know, that's totally cool. But for the Illegals and Philip Anselmo in particular, we're just trying to let everybody know that, you know, he's definitely still fired up as ever, you know, and we're just trying to bring a wall of brutality, a wall of sound, straight power, you know, like the old days, like the early 90s that not too many bands, you know, seem to be doing. We want to come out and just raid, you know, totally just go insane, man. And with these songs, you know, being, you know, almost original. You know, you can hear, if you listen closely, there's some really cool stuff going on. It's just really cool for the Illegals and Philip, you know, for him and for him to have this band to back him up and do whatever he wants. And we can do a slow song, or we can go out and do anything off the new album. So with the Illegals, I just think, you know, we're gonna bring a sure power of raw, you know, heavy death metal, man, and it's gonna be extreme, and it's gonna be something to reckon with. You know what I mean? I can't wait to get out there and do it do it live. It's gonna be totally sick, man.
I'm gonna shift away here for just a little bit. Now, you're part of the junior varsity Illegals.
Oh, cool. JV.
and you're one of the pranksters. So what has been one of the worst pranks you've done so far, possibly, if you could talk about on air?
I'm always trying to joke around, just trying to do fun stuff. Have you seen any of the illegal? Have you seen the illegal chatter video?
Some of it, yes.
Or yeah, that was yeah. We were all cracking up on that. But prank wise, oh man, at my job, I'm always doing this same little prank. I'll tell you this little prank that I do, where like if people are like having like a little conversation, I like to like go up and just like start doing like a what's that what's that word I'm looking for? Like a laugh, but like a fake laugh, like no matter what they're talking about, I like to just go up and just like laugh like I'm in their conversation, and they always look at me like I'm just the biggest fool for just making no sense whatsoever, man.
I just thought it was funny when I saw you that they had mentioned you were part of the Junior Illegals, and I was like, hey, that's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. I didn't know that. That is hilarious, man. That's funny. Me and Walter.
For someone that doesn't know you, what is something you collect that would surprise somebody?
I am an avid T-shirt collector, just like concert shirts. If you would see my concert, that's one of my prized possessions, is like my collection of my collections of T-shirts. Man, I must have 400 or 500 shirts stacked over here in my room, and I still collect shirts. I mean, it's something common, but for me, I have a gigantic T-shirt collection of just some rare shirts that you can't really find, from the late 90s to the early 2000s and all in between. That's one of my, if you don't know, I got a gigantic metal T-shirt collection, man.
That's
Big
awesome.
one.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. Always collecting shirts.
Is there any band, man, that you've seen live? I mean, lots of times, that's really shocked you, that you've seen a band, you know, multiple times, possibly?
I would think one band I've seen probably the most times would be Cannibal Corpse, man. It's one of my favorite bands. We'll never stop seeing them. Them and this band from New York called Immolation. Seen them a ton of times, and always go out and see them. Another band, real quick, Brujeria from Mexico. Some good friends of mine, good guys, and seen them a handful of times. So never get tired of seeing them. But Cannibal Corpse is probably the band I've seen probably the most times out of any band, man, for sure. Are
you listening to any new bands right now that's really caught your eye that everybody else will possibly check out too?
Let's see, new bands that I'm checking out right now. What's been good lately? These guys put out an album, I think it was last year. Great. If you're into death metal, I'm going to suggest a couple of albums that I've been listening to. A band from New York called Dehumanized. If you don't know those guys, old school guys, if you don't know them, check them out. And I'm sure if everybody's familiar with a band called 6 Feet Under, but they put out an album out last year. I've been jamming on that new 6 Feet Under. I think it's really good for that band to come back out with that new album. They hadn't really. I don't know, the last few albums were all right, but they just put out an album out. And there's another band real quick called Gruesome from all of members from all over the place, but they're like a total death worship, like the band Death Worship. And Gruesome, if you don't know them, check them out too, man. Yeah, Dehumanized and Gruesome, man, for sure, check them out. Good. Oh, and 6 Feet Under, that's what I've been jamming on, man.
Folks, Philip H Anselmo and the Illegals' new album, Choosing Mental Illness as a Virtue, is out now. I'm telling you right now, this is a really, really great album. And Mike's guitar playing on here is very, very good. And I'm not saying it just because he's on here. I mean, honestly, it's really great. So, Mike, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, tour dates, things like that? How can they do that, my friend?
You can go over to the Philip H Anselmo and the Illegals Facebook, and I'm always posting on there. So is some of the other Housecore crew. They're always posting on there. We'll be putting up tour dates hopefully here soon. We're going to be going on the road, I would think, mid-April, most of May. So keep our eyes peeled to the Illegals Facebook page, as well as thehousecorerecords.com for all news, Philip and all his bands right there. So, but for the Illegals, hit up the Facebook, and we'll be putting all, everything on there, man, and you'll be able to get a hold of the band and everything. So definitely there.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Yes, sir. Got it, man. What's up, everybody? This is Mike DeLeon from Philip H Anselmo and the Illegals, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Thank you so much, Mike. I really, truly appreciate your guys' music, man.
Dude, thank you so much for supporting the band, man. We really appreciate it. Oh, can't wait to get out there and play these songs for you cats and tear it on up. We really appreciate all the support as well, brother.